Does this mean that Jeff Bezos is also the best CEO in the world?
Well, Vonnie, first let's be clear. Bill Gates is giving away his fortune, so that does make it easier for Jeff. But look, Amazon's on an amazing run. I mean, the stock is up 27% this year. I think it's up by a factor of 4 since my book came out at the end of 2013. And there are a couple of pieces to it, right? The retail business itself is 20 straight quarters of 20+% growth. You've got this growth engine called AWS, a new and entirely different business that Jeff spawned within Amazon now about 10 years ago. So he has demonstrated the kind of versatility that so few other CEOs have been able to do, and that is a big part of his personal success right now.
Brad, what distinguishes him as a chief executive?
I think it's the ability to manage so many disparate parts of the business. It's also the ability, he's created a company that is sort of, it's relentless in its forward march in terms of like building these fulfillment centers close to customers and then just continuing to invent new things. I mean, you have to give Amazon credit. They were probably the most poorly positioned to lead the tech industry in artificial intelligence, and yet they got into the living room first with the Amazon Echo and the Alexa personal assistant. So I think he's created a very fertile culture at Amazon.
Brad, is it sustainable given the pace? If you look at our Bloomberg chart library, 76.52, you'll see that Microsoft, the wealth, at least through the stock, has been rising slowly and staying at that level, whereas for Amazon, obviously, there's been real exponential growth.
That's right. And it's a combination of all these factors. The growth of AWS, which is now 10% of Amazon's overall sales. It's a 40+% annual growth business. Its expansion into so many new markets. They just started Prime Now delivery in Singapore. They're entering into Australia. Amazon plays in huge markets, right? They're talked about as being dominant and potentially a monopolist, and yet they're still, less than 50% of e-commerce, which is around 10% of all retail. So they are still at the beginning of a very long runway, which is why Jeff always says that it's still day one.
And he's young, isn't he? I mean, he's 53 years old, Brad. I mean, can you foresee life maybe in 20, 30 years without Bezos? I mean, life, Amazon without Bezos? I mean, it's too early to even consider, isn't it?
And yet it's almost the biggest risk to the stock, right? Is there somebody else there who is versatile enough and has enough credibility, on Wall Street and within the company to run such a complicated company and to get the leeway that Jeff does to go and lose money some quarters and to continually reinvest in the business. He does have outside interests. He's spending a lot of his personal wealth on Blue Origin, his space company. You look at the pictures from Sun Valley and you see what great personal shape he's in, and it does make you wonder, is he in astronaut training? Does he want to go up into space one day? That would be a risky proposition. So, yeah, I think the day of Amazon without Jeff Bezos is a long way off, and yet he does have other personal interests that could maybe take him not outside the company. I don't think he'd ever leave, but maybe gradually reduce his time there.